When I graduated from high school, I remember being so confused about which path to take, whether interior design, interior architecture, or even just architecture. And I couldn't even tell the difference between all of them, so how was I supposed to make a decision? When I was doing my research before I chose interior design school, I was asking everybody, and I just wanted to get a lot of information because I didn't want to mess up, and I want to make sure that I was going to make the right decision for myself. But everyone that I asked had a different answer for me, so I ended up being more lost. And to be honest, the decision that I made was partially based on my circumstances. If I were to be in a different situation, I would probably have chosen a different career path, but I will talk about that later in the video. Today, I hope to explain to you what is the difference between interior design and interior architecture, and really just talk about my experience and how I chose what I chose, which was interior design. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get right into it. So in 2016, it was time for me to choose a career. So I remember going to so many universities just to inquire for information, but I quickly realized that everyone was just trying to sell me on their program, and I wasn't really getting any concrete answers about the main difference between interior design and interior architecture. So my dad knew an architect, and he was like, "Why don't you meet with this architect?" So we met, and he said something that I quite remember up until this day. He took out a piece of paper and he started to draw, and he was explaining that when architects start a project, they start from the outside and then they make their way into the building as their project evolves and as the design process evolves. So this really means that they first consider the location, the architecture that is surrounding the building or the site, the solar studies. They analyze the site and all these considerations, and then they go more into the actual building until they reach the interior. And some architects also design the interior, but it's not always the case. So at this point, I knew that I probably wouldn't want to study architecture, because for me, I wanted to only focus on the interior. I've always been crazy obsessed with interiors, so that's what I wanted to pursue from day one. After having studied interior design, I can say that we get very personal with our client in the beginning stages of the project. We even give them design questionnaires to fill out, and we really want to know everything, even the smallest detail about how they occupy a given space in the project that we are going to renovate or to design. And then we move into more general aspects of the project, which would be like the material selection or the construction methods. And we collaborate very closely with other architects, other professionals, other tradespeople in the further stages of the project, such as the construction stage and really the development of the actual project. And I can imagine that architects also get very personal with their clients in their own process. But as an architect, you would primarily consider the building elements, the site, the structure, the construction methods. All of these are really a substantial part of an architect's process. With what I have learned about interior design and interior architecture throughout my career, I come to the conclusion that interior architecture is that middle point between interior design and architecture. Simply put, interior architects are involved in the interior design process, but in a more technical way. And a lot of their decisions are also going to be architecture decisions. So they might also be involved with the actual architecture of the space, and they do have that technical knowledge to be able to make those decisions. The reality is that in practice, and I am talking from my own experience, is that some interior designers are also trained on construction methods, on architectural knowledge as well. And they're actively making decisions with contractors, with architects, as it is a very common case in Western Canada. But this is where it gets complicated, because not all interior designers or interior architects or even architects are taught the same skills all around the world, just for the simple fact that not all interior design and architecture programs are built the same. I have looked at many curriculums of interior design programs, and sometimes what I notice is that some programs are very focused on design, on the creative process, and there are other programs that are also focused, or that are primarily focused on the construction methods and really the technical aspect of interior design. So me as an interior designer, I would probably have a very different set of knowledge and set of skills from a designer in the UK, for example, or any other country in the world, and even from someone else that is on my CV and went to a different university than myself. If I have learned anything about this career, is that sometimes there is a very fine, blurry line between interior design and interior architecture, and they overlap most often than not. If you haven't heard about my story, I came to Canada to pursue interior design, but if I had stayed in my country, I would definitely have gone for interior architecture, just for the fact that there wasn't even an interior design program in my city. So that was kind of like my only option at the time. And I knew that architecture was completely out of the list, because I knew that I wanted to study something that had the word interior in it. But then I had the opportunity to just come here to Canada, so I just went for interior design, because here in Canada, interior design is a career on its own. So there are bachelor programs and diploma programs and so many programs for interior design specifically. So I think that your circumstances do matter, and they matter a lot. My recommendation to you would be first to decide what do you want as a career, and try to pursue that career path if it's available where you live, or the closest thing to that career path. A lot of the times we think that the program that we take is either going to make us a success or either going to be the reason for failure, but that's entirely not the case. The reality is that most of the skills that you're going to be taught in interior design or in architecture schools are going to be very theoretical. So you're going to be learning the basis, the foundation of this career, the design process from a theoretical standpoint. But the skills that you are going to need in practice, some of the skills that you're also going to need in practice, are not going to be emphasized while you are in school. So some of these skills are your creativity, if you know how to draw, if you know how to solve problems, if you know how to communicate your design intent. So all I'm saying is that the fact that you graduate from any program does not really guarantee that you're going to be mastering all of your skills. You really have to put your effort into learning and practicing the skills to really be good at what you do. I really hope that this video can help you make a decision for yourself, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.